evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast for your Monday night. We're about to get the week underway, and that means one thing and one thing only, which is ANZCAR truck racing. Tonight, we're coming to you live from Kentucky. Last week, we saw Josh Mickelmore take out the win at Michigan for Mitch Motorsport. Really strong performance from him there as well. And we're looking forward to seeing who can run out with the win here tonight. So let's not delay things. Let's get on with it. Joined by Carl with you tonight. We're going to get things underway. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGM eCast, presenting the ANZCAR Truck Series. As we said in the intro there, I'm Stuart Brown. I'm joined by Carl Withy. He will be on board shortly as we get into yet another instalment of the ANZCAR Truck Series. Tonight we are at Kentucky Speedway. I'm not sure that I've broadcast a race from here just yet, but there's always a first time for everything, particularly in the trucks. So looking forward to seeing what this one brings tonight and what Carl can bring to the commentary as well in terms of a little bit of analysis of the lap here. Like we always enjoy, we'll get into that shortly. It's a full field again here tonight, 33 trucks on track. And at the moment, last week's race, podium finisher, Aidan Schultz. He is on the provisional pole position. Jaden Russell right behind him with Danny G, we should say, behind him in third place. That's not provisional pole. Fastest in practice is what I meant to say. Just a little bit of rust to blow off the shoulders tonight as we get things started here on FGM eCast for another week. A big week for us, in fact. Back to 4 nights a week in broadcasting. We have got the AusPro M Sim Series back tomorrow night for the first wildcard round in Season 4, and what a Season 4 it's building up to be. So looking forward to getting into that with you all as well. If you are watching, wherever you're watching, do give us a like and a share or a thumbs up where you can. And if you aren't already, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we do try and grow our following as much as we can. So we definitely appreciate a little bit of your love there if you can afford us that extra on your Monday night. So I'm just having a look through the standings here. Unfortunately, I don't have any updated standings as it is because the system that the ANZCAR admin use at the moment just playing up a little bit, not quite allowing them to do what they need to do. So don't have those updated standings for, if nothing else, creates a little bit of drama around the series about who might be in front, who's winning. Are you at home? Are you taking notes and keeping a manual scorecard by yourself, or are you just here to enjoy your Monday evening of sim racing? We certainly are, that is for sure. With 7 minutes left here in practice. I'll just keep an eye on a couple of these drivers as they get around. It's going to be an interesting race tonight across the board. dealing with a couple of admin things in the background there. We're back again, so we'll get this one underway. Sorry about that. So you're just saying here, we've got just under 7 minutes left in practice. We're on board at the moment, Michael Skurlock, running the Castrol livery in the 350. He looking for another strong result this week as well. Andrew Dyson just sitting in front of him as well. In terms of results, got the new Phoenix Smokers addition to the 041 entry. Another business joining and supporting the stream. I should say, not the stream, supporting and joining the DPR factory team, I should say. The simrigs.com entry. Rich Motorsport, of course, you see there, the 31 entry. Doing extremely well. Josh McLemore a little further down the list at the moment, but that's okay. Qualifying still yet to come. So the full weekend of motorsport. Let us know what you were watching if you were having a look at the Formula One over the weekend. Not a bad race from what I heard. We've got some new camera angles here tonight. No, we haven't run with before, which is always nice. We've got the just sitting on top of the TV tower at the moment, giving you a look at gives you the full length of track there as Dyso just grabs some of the grass on the way around and just keeps the boot into that one as he continues that there. Does a little bit of drawing on the track, which we always like to see. 3 minutes or so remaining in practice here. Looking forward to getting into qualifying. 2-lap shootout, as always, here out on track by yourself and see who can string the laps together. Let's have a little quick look here of the track map while we can. You can see that not our standard sort of track that we run at. So get on board and have a look at that as we can for qualifying. And then we are set here for 100 laps tonight. So just have a look at the track weather as well while we're waiting for this one to finish up. You can see there, very, very warm track temperatures, 50 degrees. So it is going to be hard on tyres here. The drivers will be looking to make the most of any caution periods that we may have so they can get in and get fresh rubber on. I haven't actually found out yet how we're looking for fuel over this race, but we'll get an idea of that as we get into it, of course. But at 50 degrees, drivers are going to want to manage tyre wear as best as they can. Particularly if we end up with extended caution period, extended period under green flag, I should say. Those that manage their tyres best will fare the best for the duration. Expect here, if it does go green, it will only be a 2-stop strategy, maybe. So we'll see how that changes out there. Second lap will probably be the fastest. Just practicing pit entries there, very, very important. We've seen in the past that it's easy to get yourself stuck after a long run. People have jumped in a pit lane and spun it up a bit, and unfortunately then suffered the consequences of getting a drive-through penalty as a result of that on their way through, so they can wreck your race. But a little bit of practice never goes astray. So we're about to get into qualifying. We've got a minute to go here. Drivers just making their last few practice runs. Very, very extensive field here tonight. We've got a few new runners as well. Plenty of the pillars of the category. Very, very well supported as well. 33 trucks out on track. So currently riding on board the 40 of Cade Donnelly. Simboy's entry of Cade. Carl's just let us all know he's running a bit late. That's alright, Carl. We'll see when you get here, mate. The race is 100 laps tonight. Plenty of time. We'll see when you get on board and save the public from my very poor attempt to give people a pre-race rundown here at a track, of course. It's at a track that I don't know a lot about, but that's okay. We will make our way through. And as I say that, of course, Carl's popped into the broadcast booth, so I'm not sure how that has happened. But anyway, we'll catch up with Carl when he gets here. Practice over now, so we're going to get into qualifying. As I said, solo qualifying, as always, 2 laps for the drivers. I need to pick up a person here to run with. We generally grab the first person out of the blocks, and tonight, that is actually Aiden Schultz first. So we're going to jump on board here with Aiden in the Crank Esports entry number 52. Had a strong race last time out, finishing on podium. We'll be looking to do that again and get that race win.
Hopefully he's going to get a strong night, and good evening everybody. Sorry for the very late arrival, but I am here and ready to go.
Carl, welcome. Run home from work. You're here just in time to save the public from my, should we say, filling dead air commentary. Yes, we've got Aiden to get going here. We might say, if you can, Carl, get straight into it and give us a rundown of the lap here at Kentucky.
So yeah, coming through turns 1 and 2, tricky corner, easy to run up to the wall. You can see how close Aiden's getting now. You've got to get up to the wall to get the speed here. Onto the back straight, the only straight on the circuit, into turns 3 and 4. Of course, this track is quite a round one. Lifting off a little bit through here, again on the accelerator, just got to ease it on here, getting onto the back dog leg, the back sort of curved section. Very easy to lose the car there and run up high into the wall. Good lap there from Aiden Schultz.
Yeah, I was trying to describe how would you describe this track? Like, it's not a tri-oval, it's not an oval, it's I don't know, it's just an oval with a straight bit.
That's it. It's a very strange circuit. It's almost like a fried egg. It's that sort of shape. It's just that bit different from everywhere else, and it can throw you out here at Kentucky. It's one of those tracks that is easy to get a mistake on. It's quite a quick track as well, obviously. You're getting quite a lot of speed. There's not a huge amount of lifting that's needed. You just have to be just careful on that throttle as you're mid-corner, because it is easy for that rear to start getting loose.
Yeah, we're just seeing here top speeds of just on 300 clicks for Ruben Phelps. Of course, in the draft, that will be a little bit higher as well. So, yeah, very, very fast. But, Phelps doing well there. It's a interesting looking grid starting to take place here. We've got Russell on provisional pole with Andrew Dyson. He's now out on his second flying lap in the DPR entry. The 041 that has become a familiar figure on our broadcasts at the front of the field. And he looks like he's pulled out of that second lap, actually. So he's currently sitting provisionally in second, Aidan Schultz in third. Just having a look back down through the list here to see who's still got to complete their laps. Mirko Dortnak's getting out on his lap. So is Gary Wellman. Steve Williams too. So there's plenty still to go in the fast runners. Michael Skurlock just jumping out on track as well. Luke Trahair, he's about to complete his first flying lap. Let's have a look at the 43 Luke Trahair entry. Where does he get to? He only just jumps up into 22nd, so he'll be looking to improve on that as Jason Martin heads out onto the front row provisionally with a 31.15, fastest by 3/100ths so far, out on his second flying lap.
Really good speed there from Jason Martin, not completely unexpected. I mean, Jason Martin's one of those drivers that tends to pretty much get it nailed straight away every time. Unfortunately,
Riley Curtis has jumped in and saved us once again. The track is D-shaped, so of course it is. Oh, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. It's too early. Is it too early in the week? It's too late in the week. It's only Monday and struggling as well. Thank you, Riley. Thank you for saving us. And Trev, good evening. Welcome back to another week on FGM Cast. Always appreciate your joining us on the stream. Looking to see how you Mitch Motorsport boys get on.
I'm expecting a strong night from the Mitch team, as often is the case. A really good result as well from Jaden Russell. Again, just showing that absolute pace. Some really good speed out of Jaden Russell this season. We've seen him and his teammate Brenton Hobson really doing some good times out there, and just really surprising a lot of people. Of course, more circuit races than oval races, but definitely putting on a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just saying it, Carl, just before you jumped in, how good it is to see a whole heap of new names in the truck series this season. Yeah, most of them very, very strong drivers indeed. So continues to be a strong performing class, remembering, of course, that the concept here is that this is a feeder class or a development class for the Cup series. It's anything but that these days with like Jason Martin, as you say, Jaden Russell joining the series as well, Andrew Dyson, etc., making this one as quick as you could believe it is in these trucks.
Yeah, they've really been doing a great job, and it's good to have that mix of new and old blood in there. So let's go through the starting positions. On the front row, we have Jason Martin and Jaden Russell. Second row is Andrew Dyson and Aidan Schultz. Third is Danny G with Edward Foster. Fourth, Dave Douglas, Kate Donnelly. Fifth is James Robbie and Norman Clark. Sixth, Mirko Dortnak, Josh Micklemore. Seventh is Luke Trahair, Ryan Jones. Eighth is Nathan Clark and Stephen Williams. Ninth row, Ben Vickers, Aaron Dillon. 10th is Skurlock and Mesmo. 11th, we have Urquio and Wellman. 12th, Finley and Priest. 13th is Ryan Wooden and Mark Johansson. 14th is Rollock and Raymond. We have Brent Hobbs, and Steve Hoppett, and Michael Shaw and Mick Taylor towards the back of the grid.
Couple of good performances in there as well. I think Dave Douglas will be happy he's inside the top 10. He's sitting on screen at the moment in the 199 lockdown entry. Great looking livery that one is. And he'll be happy to be inside the top 10. He's been complaining a little bit about his qualifying performance of late, so won't be disappointed with 8th at all to start out this race. And that he'll be happy with Aidan Schultz and Ruben Phelps up in the top as well, so they're going to be able to work together in the Crank Esports team. And a number of good results there. Josh Micklemore's got a little bit of work to do. He's qualified 13th, Luke Trahair in 14th, as you said. So, and Michael Skurlock down in 20th. He must have tried to do a lap with his eyes shut or something. So it's going to be an interesting mix-up, this one.
Yeah, we should be in for a good race tonight. 100 laps here around the Kentucky Speedway. Who is going to get it right tonight and who is going to fry their truck? We'll soon find out.
Not too many of them frying their trucks, but you never know.
We've seen a few mistakes this season, though, with gear changes. Speaking of frying trucks, it's Jason Martin got caught out last week with that happening, and we of course saw Mirko Dortnak blow his engine. So it is something you've got to be careful of, especially if you are using the H pattern, which a lot of these drivers do. It's very easy to miss a gear, and all of a sudden your truck is going to go up in a big ball of smoke, and your engine's going to be running away from you quite quickly.
Yeah, well, hopefully we don't see too many of those tonight. We had a race just recently that ran green to green, so you never know, we might have another one. I'm sure we've had one in the trucks though, so it could be a first for that. But anyway, I was making some guesstimates that they'll probably have to have at least one pit stop, if not two, to get through this race. Track temperature here tonight, 50 degrees, so they're going to want more than one stop to get through with any grip left whatsoever. It's going to be quite a tough one on tyres tonight, as it always is. But most certainly, with that track temperature, it's going to hurt it.
That track temperature is going to be very painful. Obviously, when you've got such a long radius corner, you're basically turning left for almost the entire lap here. It can be quite harsh on tyres, especially when you're following another truck. Jason Martin at the moment, he is following the pace truck as it comes peeling into pit lane. He's going to effectively become the pace truck. He's going to wait for it. When is he going to drop the hammer? As we're about to go green here at Kentucky Speedway for the ANZCAR Cup Series here on FGM eCast.
And there we go. Jason Martin drops the hammer. Jaden Russell goes right with him, side by side. And Andrew Dyson, Aiden Schultz just dropped a little bit there. They are jogging on the spot somewhat. Danny G got a good start. He's up one spot as well already. As Ruben Phelps get into it. Let's get off this camera before it sends us dizzy. And you can see there 3 wide going into effectively or out of turn 1 as we head back down through here to start the long sweeping left-hander that is, I guess, turns 2 and 3 as we move into it. But it is Martin, Russell, Dyson, Schultz, Danny G. We've got Ruben Phelps, Dave Douglas, Edward Foster, James Robbie and Kate Donnelly starting out our top 10 as we get through the first lap. A tidy one for everyone. You just see there's a little bit of a battle forming already just in the back pack here as they try and sort the numbers out early on. Figure out whether or not the high line or the low line is the one worth running. You've got Ruben Phelps there down on the inside. He has dropped a couple of places. Dave Douglas up in front of him, as well as I think you got Danny G there in the 24 Mitch Motorsport entry. So a little bit of jostling happening here. It's pretty streamlined at the front at the moment. Very, very early on here tonight.
Yeah, watching Ruben, he actually was starting to struggle a little bit with the rear. It was starting to step out a little bit on him this early in the race. Just after a couple of laps, he was starting to get that rear just stepping out. And again, he's just having to put a little bit of a correction in there as somebody a little bit further back gets a bit of a moment. I think that was Nathan Clark. But the trucks aren't looking completely settled here, of course. When you get into the corners, you're running at a serious speed, over 260 kilometers per hour. You get that little bit of aero wash. The front of the truck lifts up a little bit. The back end gets a little bit light. And all of a sudden you can start running up the track, the back end and step out on you. It's a very tricky thing to do. It's a big balancing act getting around this circuit.
Yeah, it's only going to get harder, of course, as those tyres wear off in this hot 50-degree track temp that we're running here at Kentucky. So drivers are going to be working hard tonight to keep things together. But early on, nice smooth sailing. Have a little bit of a look further down the pack. It's pretty close here. There's another group forming. This is Norm Clark, Ben Vickers, Michael Skurlock just trying to be the cheese in the sandwich there. Not quite able yet to get a run, and there's a huge pack behind it with Wellman, Priest, Mesamo as well behind in this group with Ryan Jones. He'll be aggressive. Track temperature might not quite suit Ryan Jones tonight with the way he generally likes to make things happen, but as usual you can see here just getting on with business, trying to make his way up through the field after he'll be disappointed with his start. He's dropped 6 places so far.
Jumping to the front, we've got Aiden Schultz making a move on Jason Martin there. Aiden Schultz has taken that position, gotten into the front of the race, gotten into the lead there with the Crank Esports truck, having a great run so far this evening and carrying on that form from last time out in the truck series.
Yeah, that would have given Aiden a confidence boost, there's no question about it. He's had a little bit of bad luck and been caught up in some places that he said he didn't want to be involved in. So he'll be happy to be out running at the front. And he's got 2 quality races with him, Jason Martin and Jaden Russell. So he's got some strong contenders to keep behind him. But of course, only lap 7 so far. So plenty of time to go in this race. It's thickening up behind him as well here. You can just see there's a group of cars trucks, I should say. It's Foster, Douglas, Robbie, Donnelly down on the inside trying to make something happen as well. Phelps and Dortnack getting up to this group as well. You can see them there just in the background, so this pack continues to grow. It's now around about 8 trucks, and this is all battling for positions right through to position 5.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at some of the lines the drivers are taking at the moment. A lot of them are quite happy to take a bit of a lower line, but there are a couple that seem to enjoy that sort of midline at the moment and seem to be a little more comfortable up there. So that's going to be interesting to see how it works out. There are a lot of people jostling for position, though, down through the pack. So it is racing all the way at the moment, which is what we love to see. We've got trucks that are too wide, we've got trucks that are in single file, but they are all over the place and looking to make up those positions, seeing what they can do tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You just see Skurlock there get the position on Ben Vickers. He's moved up one spot. Looks like Ryan Jones is going to go with him a little bit as well. And he's made that position up as well on Ben Vickers. So a couple of spots up there for these two. They'll be wanting to get up onto the lead pack as quickly as they can. You can see there's a swathe of Simboy's entries not too far off as well. Dwayne Priest just in the middle of them. It's a good, smooth start here from everyone. Just, I think, probably paying a little bit of respect to the grip conditions. Saw plenty of accidents in practice, including one very spectacular accident that we'll bring to you as a highlight during the week on our social. So if you aren't already, make sure you jump on and follow so you get to see that. It involves one Lachlan Urquio doing some tricks during practice, so very impressive indeed.
Well, look, if you're going to have a crash and get the experience of the crash, then you want to do it in the practice session. That's the time when you learn the grip and learn where you can go fast and where you can't go fast. That's generally my rule of thumb is, you push a bit in practice, hopefully to get it out of the way before the race comes.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing lost in practice on these simulators, that's for sure. So and do what you need to do. But yeah, as Aidan Schultz continues to lead here, good gap of 3/10 over Jason Martin behind him, and Jaden Russell with Andrew Dyson still in this pack. So those guys probably not too disappointed to not be running at the front, just to be sitting in the train even at the moment.
Yeah, speaking of trains, there's a bit of a train forming up from P18 down. Norman Clark at the moment, he just seems to be struggling a tiny bit. He's got Gary Wellman behind him, fast charging Dwayne Priest, and those guys are getting a bit racy. You can see Norman just keeping that truck right to the middle of the track at the moment, just keeping it sort of planted there so nobody can get past in the 09 at the moment. Doing a good job of keeping the guys behind him, but it's going to be a matter of time before they start getting a little bit racy and probably a little bit impatient as well. But they are slowly catching up to the back of Skurlock and Ryan Jones as well. Ryan Jones up in 16th position at the moment, so he's trying to work his way through the field as we speak.
Priest makes a move down the inside of Wellman here. Might be able to close that out. That's the 51 of Simon Mesamo behind him. So just still sorting one another out at the back here. You can see as well that Ryan Jones has managed to make his way past Michael Skurlock. So Jones now leading that pairing as they're coming very quickly up onto the back of Nathan Clark and Aaron Dillon, and trying to join back onto that lead pack as quickly as they can. That pack has extended out now to 11 trucks. So we've got 11 trucks now in that lead grouping.
We've got some great battles out on the track at the moment. A little bit further up, we've got Kay Donnelly with Dave Douglas on his outside at the moment. Dave Douglas on the track that takes his two initials from his name into Hart. There's a detailed track for Dave Douglas on it. He's just got Kay Donnelly going down the inside at the moment. You can see Josh Micklemore right there as well. Ruben Phelps, James Robbie, those guys are all waiting for a mistake, trying to get down on the inside at the moment and pounce on him, but Dave's keeping a good pace up on the slightly higher line at the moment, so we'll see how that one works out for him. He's been running sort of too wide for most of this race, so he's got a little bit more experience than some of the others running that high line.
Yeah, and I thought it might have not been working out from there, but you called it, Carl. It just pushes him in there. Oh, he's got caught in the wall there. That's taken a whole heap of momentum out of the 199 entry, and Douglas drops a few places there. It's got some damage on the right-hand front corner of it, that one. So that's no good at all.
No, not helpful. Meanwhile, up the front, Aiden Schultz has got an angry Jason Martin all over the back of him. All he can see in his mirrors right now is the purple Mitch Motorsport car of Jason Martin. Martin is jinking left and right. He's managed to catch back up to the gap. Jaden Russell's dropped off a little bit, about a second now from those two, but Jason Martin has sort of eased off a little bit, held back, and now gone on the attack. So he is looking to try and catch up to the back of Aiden Schultz, but Schultz is doing a great job at the moment defending, just keeping Martin behind him, keeping calm, not pushing too hard, not relenting from the probing attacks of Jason Martin at the moment. So doing a good job out in the lead still.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, he did share with us. He had a chat with some of the more experienced drivers there, and he's just got caught into the wall. Just taking the door off the 52 entry, but we'll see how that affects him as he goes on. Just got stuck a little bit there, so Martin will be trying to make hay while the sun shines if he can. But we've seen drivers with this new damage model still be okay with that kind of damage, so just see how this one fares for him.
Curse of the commentator just strikes once more right there, but he seems to be holding on to the pace. This new damage model is very it's very strange. We'll put
Work
it that
in
way.
progress.
Yeah, let's go with that. It looks pretty interesting, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the trucks too much, and seems to almost look like the trucks are made out of crepe paper rather than actual bits of metal. They rip apart so quickly, but Schultz's pace hasn't been affected too much by that.
I guess they've got to find that balance, which is going to be difficult at this point in time with the new model. So they've got it so that things fly off the cars a little bit more, but you know, the in the trucks in real life, I don't know how many times people's doors get ripped off. As we seem to see at the moment, it happens a fair bit. So they'll continue to work on it and improve it. But Schultz is still doing a good job there out in front of Jason Martin, so not affecting him too much, which is good.
Yeah, a little bit of weight saving on his vehicle. That's what's happening. It's like the old F1 teams, you know, putting a few extra bits of lead pellet in the car after the race just to get it through scrutineering. So maybe Aiden will have to get a few lead pellets into his car as Jason Martin puts on the attack, gets underneath Aiden Schultz at the front. Schultz is up on the high line, Jason Martin on the low line. Schultz should get a little bit of a better run onto the front. Well, it's going to say front straight here, but the front curve. Jason Martin's going to have the shorter line though, so he will have the momentum coming into the corner. Should see Jason Martin just creeping out ahead in the next lap or two here. Schultz will get better drive off the corner onto the straight, but Jason will get better drive into the corner here, taking that inside line, and Martin takes the position.
Really good driving from these two. So they continue to go at it side by side. Martin will get the door closed here, you would think. Although Schultz has got a good drive off the corner in the background there, you can see Russell, Dyson and Foster battling away. And these two continue. Oh, as Martin just touches the apron there. That's cost him a little bit of time. It's opened the door back up here for Schultz. See there in the background, Edward Foster trying to get some way around Russell and Dyson. So we've got two really good battles going on here in our top five, and these two just running side by side, lap after lap, if you don't mind.
And it's really going to help those guys out behind just catch up to them. It's going to cost them a little bit of speed here as they run next to each other. They're going to be costing each other a bit of speed. And you can see that by that gap closing from Jaden Russell, Andrew Dyson and Edward Foster. Meanwhile, at the moment, Jason Martin's just got to think about finishing in front of Foster. He is his main rival in a championship as it stands. Of course, his teammate Josh Micklemore is quite close behind as well. So that's going to be an interesting little battle. As looks like just maybe a couple of connectivity issues there for Aiden Schultz. Hopefully that does not persist and that is okay. But Jason Martin's going to get in front here, I think. So we should see Jason Martin just getting ahead now. And probably see Aiden Schultz just slotting in behind him relatively shortly, unless he seems to be preferring that high line, which it might be the case because he seemed to have run it earlier on and be quite happy up there. We've seen a few drivers prefer that slightly higher line. Jason Martin's one of those drivers that sometimes takes a bit of an odd line around a track and sometimes can take a slightly tighter line and still make the truck work.
Yeah, as you were saying before, Carl, we just quickly take a step back in positions here because there's been a few changes. Andrew Dyson has managed to make his way up past Jaden Russell and Edward Foster's. Oh, he's into him. Foster gets into Jaden Russell and that's put him up. No damage to the truck, you think. A little bit of damage to the back corner there. But they, I think, just didn't quite see one another there, and that's cost Russell. He's dropped a number of places and lost a bit of speed. And it's let James Robbie get through. He's had a good run out of the corner in the 41 entry, so he now moves up into the lead of this group. I was going to say it's blown out, and it's given Dyson a good jump as well, but this pack now has banked up with them running 2 wide as well, so it's allowed, you can see there, we've now got 7 or 8 trucks together now trying to chase down Andrew Dyson, who got away as a consequence of that little touch between Foster and Jaden Russell. So he's now trying to catch up onto the back of the lead pack.
Yeah, that was a good save from Jaden Russell there. Foster was not really just giving anything away there. He was just holding his line, holding his position, and the old rubbing is racing. I think we've seen Jaden Russell and Foster get close to each other a few times this season in the trucks, and I think Foster was just saying, look, I'm not yielding, you're not going to get the better of me right here, I'm going to hold my position. Luckily no caution brought out from it, but hard racing there is Cade Donnelly getting caught out there as well, manages to hold on. Josh Micklemore and Cade Donnelly, that was very close, almost had a caution again. Great save there from Cade, keeping that truck there. Good driving as well, Josh Micklemore as well, just keeping his truck underneath him just to keep him in a straight line almost.
It's caught one another, which helps. A bit of damage to the back of Donnelly, but nothing on what it could be here. We're just starting to get a little bit loose. 29 laps in now, hot track temps. Tyres probably just starting to get a little second hand as well, so that's starting to show. 29 laps.
Yeah, these trucks are going to start getting very, very tricky to drive soon, and any bit of damage on there is not going to help you out. You've got that feeling that maybe in that pack, at the moment, that big fight going on, Jaden Russell, Josh Micklemore, Cade Donnelly, Steve Williams, Dave Douglas, Ryan Jones up there, Michael Skurlock, they're very racy at the moment, they're very close together, and they're really not yielding as, I think Ryan Jones just getting up into the wall there.
Yeah, he did indeed, Jones. He just got stuck in the wall there. He's lost the right-hand front guard off the 111 entry. That's been plucked by the wall. So he'll have a little bit of damage there. That won't be ideal. But just running in these packs, you've got to be really, really careful. Particularly with that loss of grip that they'll be starting to struggle with now. Steve Williams makes his way up past Dave Douglas just in front of Michael Skurlock.
And watch the old hands start to work their way through the field now, just easing up as the grip levels drop and they just start working some of their magic, and you'll see the people that are a little bit more attuned to the trucks when they're not quite as easy to drive, just working a little bit better now towards the end of this stint. It's going to be that long run pace. So I think Nathan Rollock has come into pit lane, or has he dropped out? So I think he's unfortunately dropped out, so another one to add to the list tonight. Unfortunately, we've lost Aaron Dillon, Steve Hoppett and Luke Trahair so far. Yeah,
and all the dropouts, I believe, so some internet issues going on as this battle continues to be close here between Jaden Russell and Josh Micklemore. Cade Donnelly right on the back of him along with Steve Williams.
A lot of respect being shown tonight as well, which is good. These guys are racing very hard, very close together, but they are racing relatively clean. I would say relatively clean, as we've seen a few little touch-ups here and there, but considering the speed, the lack of grip, and the closeness of the racing, very good driving standards so far, as we've gone 33 laps without a caution so far.
Yeah, no, it's been a good start. So Mirko Dordenax jumped into pit lane. Assuming that's just going to be just for a normal stop. He's got a little bit of battle damage on the 62. But, just from walls, no doubt. As Gary Wellman also comes into pit lane. So a few of the drivers deciding that now's a good time to get in, get the stop done. You can see there that Jason Martin's opened up a bit of a gap on Aidan Schultz.
Oh, there's contact! There is contact there with Stephen Williams getting caught up with, I think it was Dave Douglas and Kate Donnelly. Stephen Williams gone up into the wall, had Dave Douglas go into the back of him, and Michael Skurlock just avoid the action. Michael Skurlock maybe just getting a glancing blow on the back of Dave Douglas there. Very close to a big accident right then.
Yeah, both got lucky there. Douglas decides he's going to jump straight into pit lane. Get some new boots on the 199, so he'll be hoping that it stays green.
As Ryan Wooden's had a bit of a misfortunate pit stop. He's come into pit lane and made an absolute show of that one, and he's not going to want that one to be seen in the replay, but a bit of a mess up on the pit stop, and he's had to do a bit of an Austin Powers manoeuvre to get it into his box there. We've seen it a few times this season though. Pit stops are not that easy to make, especially when you're coming off of a very fast track into a very, very slow section of the circuit. You've got to brake quite hard into the pit lane, and of course, and it's a different grip level as well as you go onto the concrete in the pit lane, and that can really catch you out sometimes.
Yeah, we did see some of the drivers struggling with that in practice as well, so spot on there, particularly coming down onto that mixed surface. So see how long the leaders are going to stay out for here. We're going to go 38 without a caution period, as Aidan Schultz is under pressure here from Andrew Dyson. Dyson looking to get the move done, move up into second place. On him, Edward Foster out in a little bit of no man's land at the moment, and with Ruben Phelps. It's our lead 5.
James Robbie
three places.
James Robbie and Norman Clark in pit lane at the moment. So we've got some pit stops happening here on lap 36, 38. So there's a few different pit stops going on. A couple of people throwing some different strategies right now. We'll see how this one goes. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, I think. With people sort of coming in this early, it's going to mean we're probably going to be looking at a few double stops.
Yeah, I just wonder, obviously, I'd say it's tyre driven more than anything else, just struggling with them going off. Michael Skurlock is one I was going to jump on board with here. He's just struggling on the spot behind this battle with Danny G, Jaden Russell, Josh Mickelmore. And he's going to catch on to these guys as they go 3 wide. This is playing to his advantage. He's currently up 11 spots. Dwayne Priest up 13. We've got Matty Ray, old Mr. Sheen, up 14 spots along with Brent Hobbs. So plenty of good, strong movers through the field as we sort of just verging on the edge of our first pit stop period.
Yeah, these drivers are going to try and edge it out as long as they can, as long as they dare, really. And this is where you're going to be at risk of a caution coming up. This is where you could be looking at a bit of a mistake as people are struggling out there on some very worn old tyres. Meanwhile, you've got some drivers out there on some very fresh, quick tyres.
Yeah, I was just keeping an eye on Mirko Dortnak because he stopped in first. He's doing 32.9s at the moment, so he's around about half a second quicker than our lead pack. So definitely a difference in those fresh tyres. Ryan Wooden as well doing the same, 32.7s. And James Robbie down under 32s into 31.8. So definitely that fresh rubber is going to pay dividends. But as you say, that critical thing, making it to lap 50, well, they know they're going to get home on fuel, at the very least, is one thing they'll be wanting to do.
Yeah, of course, you also, you lose a lot of time. You lose a lap when you come into the pit lane. It's a lot of time that you lose. So if you can negate that, then that can sometimes work in your favour. So, it's sort of working out how much time you're going to lose out on the track. And then, of course, there's the ever-present risk of a caution flag being flown. That caution flag comes in just as you're entering pit lane and everybody else is out there. It can be absolutely disastrous for you.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of luck involved, but plenty of strategy as well. Just one of the reasons why we love this stuff so much. Dwayne Priest there getting past Cade Donnelly. Bit of damage, unfortunately, on that Simboy's entry. Saying unfortunately, it could have been a lot worse, of course, if Mickelmore wasn't there to catch him. so to speak. So, just struggling a little bit here, Cade, with the pace. Albeit, having said that, he's trying to move back on Dwayne Priest here. Down on that low line.
Struggling a bit for pace, but that doesn't mean they're not going to race. And that's where things can start going wrong, of course, is when you're really racing each other in cars that are very much getting towards second hand and struggling. It can be very easy to make a mistake. When you make a mistake when you're out on fresh tyres, it's very hard to recover. When you make a mistake on very worn chewing gum like tyres, it is even harder to recover. It's very easy to have a big mistake and things go wrong very, very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Just watching here, Andrew Dyson, who did make his way past Aiden Schultz. He's now up onto the back of Jason Martin, within striking distance of Jason Martin. He's in fact got a really good run there, and might even manage to make a passable lead temporarily. He has assumed that position. He's got to deal with one of the Simboys entries there. I didn't quite catch the number, but they've got to deal with one of those lap cars on the fresh tyres. I think he'll probably drive away from them a little bit here. Looks like that's the 104 entry of Christopher Finlay, so he'll take off into the distance. But Dyson here makes the move. He's now out into the lead of this race.
Yeah, Dyson's played blinder here. He's been saving his tyres by the look of it. He's got some really good pace out there at the moment. He's about a second, about half a second faster than Jason Martin that last lap. Similar pace to Aiden Schultz, but there's some different paces going on. It looks like Jason might have just pushed a little bit too hard and his tyres are just starting to fall off a little bit because he's struggling for pace at the moment. He might have made a little bit of a mistake as well, but he's really starting to struggle. You can see right here, you've got cars going left and right as they're on fresh tyres, getting past the leaders who are on the older tyres. Of course, blue flags are a thing. They just mean that somebody is getting towards you that's on the lead lap. You don't have to do anything about them, of course. There is no jumping out the way. You can race the leaders, you can race the lapped cars. Blue flags are just a thing to let you know that somebody is around you.
Yeah, absolutely. Edward Foster now closing up on the back of Aiden Schultz as well. So these drivers who looks like they were just able to save the tyre a little bit, just starting to make their way up towards the front of the field. So Ruben Phelps doing the same thing. He's not too far off behind Edward Foster, and they're both lapping quicker than those in front of them. Michael Skurlock doing the same thing, along with Josh Mickelmore. So they're going to benefit from that slightly slower start. And late in this stint, going to have the pace on to be able to just make a few positions up before they jump into pit lane.
Yeah, that's it. It's going to be quite useful for them. Just looking through some of the numbers, you know, some of the guys that pitted 9-10 laps ago are setting laps around about the 33-second mark, which is not that far off what the leaders are setting on those very old tyres. So those guys that save their tyres are doing a very good job. The tyre drop-off obviously quite high, quite steep here. So, you know, you get a few good laps of a few fun laps. But soon it becomes a problem, and soon that pace does die off quite quickly and it plateaus.
Yeah, so much so for Jason Martin here that Edward Foster's now made up a position with him as well. So Foster now up into second place. Jason Martin dropped to third, and he even looks like he might be susceptible to Aiden Schultz. So he's going to have to make a decision soon whether or not he jumps into pit lane. He's reached critical lap 50, so he will be able to make it home from here on fuel. So if that was ever a question in his mind, then that one has disappeared. But you can see there, Foster just driving away. Aiden Schultz closing in on him as well. Ruben Phelps, Schultz's teammate, not too far off in the distance either. So Martin's losing a heap of places here. Schultz just goes winding by. Unless he's fuel saving, he's going to really want to pull in, as Aiden Schultz does exactly that. Sorry, my apologies. Ruben Phelps does exactly that, jumps into pit lane. So interesting here.
I think he's just trying to stretch it out as long as possible right now. He just wants to get some fresher tyres towards the end of the race, just so he's not struggling as much if it remains green here. And that, of course, is always a big if. But you don't want to be in pit lane if the caution comes flying out. I think we're probably going to see Jason Martin coming in. I think we're going to see a lot of cars coming in this lap, in all honesty, as we do see Andrew Dyson coming in, Edward Foster staying out there another lap.
Well, big lock up there from Martin. Looks like he pulled it up just in time there. Sorry, Carl.
Yeah, that was super, super close there. Ryan Jones apparently had a puncture on his right front. So I'm just going
really
to have a...
It's got to be a first for a little while for us to see a tyre failure. That hasn't happened for some time, but with the heat, I guess anything's possible.
Yeah, that's it. It's gone down as he's crossed the start-finish line a couple of laps ago. He's just all of a sudden just had that tyre go. It caused a lot of bodywork damage on that right front as well. So I don't know if the new damage model affects that, if it's something rubbing on there and it's just caught it. But yeah, it just seems like that's what's happened. So I just heard over the radio that apparently is what happened. So he's dropped right down there, Ryan Jones. That's really going to affect him because he was one of those early stoppers. Foster, Skurlock coming in. This is going to leave Urquio out and James Robbie. Urquio probably going to be coming in this lap though. So I reckon we'll see those two drivers coming in relatively shortly. Will we see James Robbie managing to hold it out there another lap and get possibly a bonus point? That's going to be a question. If he can make it one more lap, then it's always nice to get that little bonus point. It's a helpful thing sometimes.
Yeah, of course, these drivers, Robbie, Douglas, Steve Williams, all pitted in the 30s, so 34, 36, 38 laps or so. Of course, we are on now lap 54, as I feel like I just heard someone's engine go.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, James Robbie is actually leading the race on pace. Of course, he is there because he pitted earlier. Sorry, that absolutely passed me by there. So sorry about that.
That's no problem at all. Just want to see if you can see it. It sounded like someone popped a motor just then, but I couldn't see anything on the timing monitors. So we'll just keep an eye on that and see if anyone drops down the list.
I don't see anything from what I've seen. Oh gosh, Andrew Dyson there just threading the needle between Wellman and Norman Clark. Just absolutely dove between the two of them, gave them an awful shock, I'm sure. Dyson just absolutely threading that perfectly. That was one heck of a move there from Dyson. Brave stuff there. He's obviously eating his Weetabix this morning.
Yeah, well, he's flying at the moment, 31.83 last time around, 2 seconds faster than Dave Douglas and Steve Williams in front of him. So he's going to make fairly light work of everyone in between. Foster as well into the 31s. So they're getting a rig along with the fresh tyres. Ruben Phelps going with him. Aiden Schultz at 31.7, if you don't mind. Last time around, almost fastest lap of the race. So there's those new tyres. Those guys are flying around.
Yeah, they've got some good speed there. The one thing you don't want to do, of course, is roast them off too early. That's what we saw happen to Jason Martin towards the end of that first stint. He pushed a little bit too hard, maybe, and boiled those tyres off a bit too quickly and struggled towards the end of the stint. So you've got to be careful of that. So it's all about pacing the car, and sometimes you just want to go quick. You know, telling a racing driver to drive slow is a bit like telling a cat to, do anything. It doesn't work very often.
No, it doesn't indeed. So just get that look at you of Phoebe.
Yes, generally. Although racing drivers, they just want to be fed, with good tyres, good engines, and good speed.
Absolutely. So Robbie's still out in the lead of this one, but Dyson is coming. He's about 9 seconds down the road. He's going to make that up pretty quickly at this rate, about a second a lap faster than James Robbie in front of him. Steve Williams currently running second with Dave Douglas in my apologies, Steve Williams currently running third with Dave Douglas in fourth. Edward Foster catching him down as well. And then we've got this little group following on behind them. Looks like Ruben Phelps managed to do the undercut on the teammate of his, Aiden Schultz. So Phelps ending up, albeit pitting a lap earlier, has made up that position. And the two Crank Esports entries will be trying to now work together to catch up onto the back of Edward Foster, who's rapidly closed down Dave Douglas in front of him. You can see him there just going down underneath Douglas. That is a change for position. These guys with the newer tyres, they're going to be able to move up through the field The question will be, can they hold them out until the end of the race? And only one stop if we go green all the way through here. And Steve Williams gets passed by Edward Foster as well. There's 2 crank cars coming as well. And those drivers who pitted early, if they pit late, will they have enough time if they take tyres, or they will take tyres, to make their way up to the head of the field? So we've got 40 laps here to go, 39 laps to go this time around. And the question's wide open, I think.
Yeah, look, I think if you're going to come in for that second stop, you need to do it in around about the next 5 laps or so to actually make it work, to actually have time to catch up to the rest of the drivers. But, of course, there is the thing of cautions. You come in a bit too soon, you could miss out on that caution. James Robbie, for instance, he could come in relatively early and he'd come out with those fresh tyres, be able to catch up to a lot of people, but he's going to lose a lot of track position. If the caution flag flies now, James Robbie's going to be in a perfect position.
Yeah, he will indeed be able to duck down the pit lane, get fresh boots on the 41, have the field closed up, and potentially make his way back through it. Of course, that assumes that everyone else doesn't pit in front of him and operate on the same strategy.
If the caution flag comes out now, I think we're going to see everybody coming into pit lane. With the amount of loss you get on those tyres after about 5 to 10 laps, it's not worth sticking out at all for anybody. I don't think we'd see anybody risk it.
True that. Riley Curtis thinks that Daiso and Foster will have this one if it goes green all the way through. Could be right, Riley. Both driven well so far tonight.
With their pace towards the end of the stint as well, you've got to say it's looking good for Dyson and Foster. We saw both of those drivers having really good pace come towards the end of the stint. So that's going to be an exciting battle. Don't count out the 2 crank cars either. You've got Phelps and Schultz right behind them at the moment as well. So that battle is getting really quite close. And those two are going to want to work together just to get up to the back of Foster and try and make him pay, so to speak, and just try and get up and past him.
Yeah, you can see them there running nice and close. That gap has been dropping. I've been keeping an eye on it now. It's down to just over 1.2 seconds between Phelps and Schultz and Edward Foster. So they're still making their way up together. Just keeping a look on the top speed of the trucks as well, just with those two working together. Should expect to see them being able to improve on that in front. Foster's running a little bit at the moment by himself, so they've got the benefit of being teammates. They've got the benefit of working together. I think they're Foster just coming up on the back of... that might be Mesmo, I think. If it might be. Didn't quite catch it there. So anyway, Foster not able to necessarily work with them. Oh, in fact, it was Kate Donnelly. Big miss there from me. Sorry, Kate.
Yeah, it's slightly... that's okay.
I just saw blue and just looked like it. There's only 1 or 2 blue cars out there, of course.
Well, that's it. Not enough blue cars, of course. We've got a few white cars, a few yellow cars now. That's good. A couple of silver cars as well. Only the one bright purple car, of course, Jason Martin, often in the very distinctive purple colours of that car. He likes to stand out a little bit. But yeah, some good colours out there, and of course a nice bright yellow. Speaking of yellows, the fluorescent yellow of James Robbie is in the lead with the Pace Syndicate car at the moment, as we see Gary Wellman coming into pit lane for the Simboys team. He's going to come in for his second stop, so he's the first of those drivers to pull the pin. He's going to have 33 laps now to try and make it up. We're seeing a few others come into pit lane as well, so we're seeing those people on the 2-stop strategy starting to come in and make those stops happen. Mirko Dortnak, one of the earlier stoppers from last time rounds, come in as well. So I imagine we'll probably see James Robbie looking at coming in the next 5 to 10 laps to get those boots off and try and make up a few positions towards the end of this race.
Well, there as well, I'm pretty sure Gary Woolman's pit crew were wearing flannies in pit lane, so that's an interesting choice for them, particularly given how cool it is at where we what is it, 50 degrees of track temperature.
But that's the track temperature. The air temperature is a relatively mild 31 degrees, and it's pretty chilly out there, in all honesty.
Perfect weather for racing in Kentucky, of course, to wear a flannelette in pit lane. So it's just an interesting one to have a look at. Anyway, as you said, I think Robbie will probably not want to leave it too much longer to get down and get his stop done. It will put Andrew Dyson into the lead, but Dyson now half a second a lap, just cutting into the lead for James Robbie. So he's really hoping that there's going to be a caution period that's going to save his bacon, but I think unfortunately for him at this point in time, Dyson there just bearing down on him. He's going to jump into the lead of this race within a matter of laps, and Edward Foster then is the next one in this chain. He's managed to actually pull away a little bit from Phelps and Schultz, so they haven't managed to quite get it done together, the Crank Esports boys, and currently about 1.5 seconds off the back of second place.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit unhappy with Cade Donnelly. They got caught up battling with Cade. Obviously, well within his rights to do that, as they just get Mark Johansson. But there's no, as I say, there's no blue flags in oval racing. There's no letting people past you racing for positions, no matter what you do. So those two got caught up a little bit with Cade and just lost a fair bit of time to Foster in front of them, so that has affected them. Meanwhile, James Robbie is looking in his mirrors, and all he can see right now is that Phoenix Smokers branding on the front of that DPR car. Dyson is right on the back of Robbie. This is going to get pretty easy for Dyson, I'd say. It's not going to be the hardest battle you're going to see, but Robbie won't let it come too quickly. He's going to try his best to keep him behind him, but there's not much you can do with that much tyre disadvantage for James Robbie.
Trev's Micklemore's not happy in the chat, wants a commentator's curse to close this one up and get us a good sprint to the end of this race. The only difficulty with that one, Trev, is actually picking who it is we want to take out of the race. It's not an easy job. It comes with much responsibility, of course, for us to choose someone. So we'll see how we go here, but these guys doing a good job as Daiso moves into the lead here, and probably just not letting him have it absolutely, but won't be long before Dyson moves into P1. Robbie's got to think about pitting, unless he thinks he's just going to hold on here and let the cards fall where they may. If there is no caution and he pits, then he's not going to finish anywhere near the top 10, so it's not the worst strategy to stick out there for as long as he can. At the moment, he's still got 1.7 seconds to Foster, 3.5 seconds to Phelps in fourth. So, and as those tyres plateau for those guys, it's actually only about 3 or 4 tenths off the pace that those behind him are putting in. So he can hold on to that, although he's getting a little bit high there. So see how he plays this one out. We're going to have 25 to go. 26 to go, my apologies, this time around.
Towards the tail end of this race, 75 laps complete, 75 laps of green flag of racing with 33 trucks out there at the beginning of this race. That's an impressive feat. We saw a few drop out, unfortunately. Steve Hoppett, one of them, dropping out just from just struggling out there tonight, showing that it isn't as easy as it looks. That's one of the things that people do tend to forget as James Robbie is coming into pit lane, but this is such a hard, grueling circuit as well. It is a test of endurance as well as a test of skill. It's not an easy thing to race on constantly, and there is such concentration needed when you're racing side by side, lap after lap, trying to keep these trucks in a line, trying to keep them on the circuit and trying not to crash into that wall. Easier said than done.
Yeah, particularly because such a portion of the lap is a corner. There's no respite, so when you're in those battles too wide, you can try to judge the exit of the corner as well, so you don't end up in the wall. As you say, it's quite taxing here, so no break at whatsoever other than that small pit stop.
Yeah, that's it, and it's one of those things, you sort of when you're driving in a sim, you often will sort of be able to grab a drink and quickly grab a swig of water or something like that with one hand in some of the longer straights on some circuits. On a track like this, you don't really have that opportunity until you're in pit lane or you've got a caution flag out. There's not really any way you can let go of the steering wheel quite easily and grab a drinks bottle. So you're sort of really stuck in here, and it does take a lot out of you.
Michael Skurlock starts to close up onto the back of Jason Martin. It's like the 31 of Josh Micklemore is a little bit further back from this group. That's Donnelly behind these two. But Martin and Skurlock here starting to come together as well. So that battle will close up, no doubt, over the next 10 or so laps. And they continue to sort out how that's going to resolve itself. We've also got a pack forming between Priest, Danny G is just there in the background. You can also see Simon Mezzomo as well as Dave Douglas in this grouping. So these guys are fighting it out for positions 9 through 12. Dwayne Priest up 16 spots. He's a good race so far, with a couple of drivers like Matty Ray and Brent Hobbs as well, up 16 spots each.
Yeah, some good drives out there tonight from the back of the pack, working their way through there, and a few of the sort of less experienced drivers in the series, less experienced on the oval side of things, at least, having good runs out there as well. Again, looking at Jaden Russell, he's there in 8th at the moment, a little bit in no man's land. He's just following Josh Micklemore at the moment. He's a little bit of distance away. He's got a bit of a gap over Dwayne Priest, but again, Jaden Russell just showing that he's got some really good pace on these oval circuits. It's good to see. It's nice to see as well a few of the slightly newer names as well out there having good runs. Mazzomo, obviously doing a good job out there. I was not seeing him for a fair bit of time, and good to see some new faces on the ovals and getting some good runs out there as well.
I don't think I've ever called Mazzomo's in a race. Mazzomo in a race, I should say. So he's been around the traps at ANZCAR for a while, so it's good to see him back, and a new name on the stream as well. That's Ruben Phelps there. He's still in 3rd position, just battling away with James Robbie, who is a lap down after doing his latest pit stop, so he's a much fresher rubber. Phelps, no need to battle away with him, just let him on through. Save your tyres with 19 to go. So it is Dyson from Foster from Phelps. This will be another good run for the Crank Esports boys, with 2 consecutive podiums in the truck series, if things stay the way they are.
Yeah, they're looking good at the moment. The one thing I'd say keep an eye on is the battle for the lead. Foster is just starting to eat away Dyson's time, starting to close that gap up. A couple of tenths here, a couple of tenths there. He's slowly closing his way up to the lead. And you sort of look away for a few minutes, you look back, and all of a sudden you can see the yellow on the front of that Atari Autosport car just getting a little bit closer each time. So will the Bumblebee manage to take out the Phoenix? We'll see what happens.
The almighty Bumblebee. You just never know. Ghastly looking little beasts they are when you see them. Anyway, as you said, there it is there. Just that flash of yellow of Edward Foster in the background. Now down to 2 seconds. He picked up a couple of tenths on the last time around, so we can do. And in fact, I got that wrong. That's actually James Robbie that we saw there. So he's closing in at a rate of knots to unlap himself from Andrew Dyson.
Yeah, an important move for James Robbie, getting back on the lead lap. Of course, if the caution falls, it's going to give him the chance to continue fighting these guys. He's going to gain a few positions as well. So watch James Robbie get some good runs here. He's going to work his way up the field and probably work his way up. Where am I?
He's got a fair gap to go. He's got around about 4 seconds to get Brent Hobbs in 14th. And then he gets into a little patch there with Matty Raymond, Dave Douglas. So he with 15 to go, he could get up inside the top 10 here if a few things fall his way.
Yeah, I'd expect to see him probably getting towards Dwayne Priest towards the end of this race if we remain green. So that's going to be one to keep an eye out for. He should be en route for a top 10 finish here, which will be a decent result, having to stop twice.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably love to be finishing, or not probably, would have loved to be finishing a bit further up, but not a bad result for the 2-stop strategy. and he's not got caught out with cautions and the like, so he won't be too disappointed. I'll tell you what has closed up is this battle here. Just half a second, like not even half a second, my apologies, a tenth of a second or two between them. There's Mazzomo just has to make his way around Lachlan Urquio, and in fact you see here Dave Douglas has just pulled into pit lane, so he's going to do the late pit run. He might try the Douglas special here and just do the 2 tyres on the 199 entry. We'll just keep an eye on him here as quickly as he gets in.
Say that's probably also to do maybe a bit with fuel as well. He's got to that sort of lap 52 sort of mark on fuel, so he's very much struggling out there. Couldn't keep it out much longer, was hoping for a caution to come, did not come his way, so he's going to just get that one underway again. Meanwhile, Michael Scurlock's worked his way up into P5, getting past Jason Martin, so Scurley on the move in that Castrol liveried 350 Tundra, so he's getting a bit of a run again. Jason Martin struggling a bit on the latter pace. Aiden Schultz is also being caught by Scurley. He's got some good pace towards the end of this race. Aiden Schultz just struggling a little bit on those tyres. I'm sure that little bit of damage to the front of that truck, that right side where he clipped the door, is not helping him at the moment. He's struggling a little bit for pace in the longer stints. So just struggling towards these last few laps, and you can see right behind him at the moment, he has got one of the, he's got Michael Shaw there all over the back of him at this stage. Michael Shaw a couple of laps down, but working his way up with some fresher tyres.
Yeah, you can just see the difference there in pace between those two. Just say Michael Scurlock just appearing in the back of the picture there. So again, not all over here. And speaking of not all over, this gap has now dropped down between our race leader, Andrew Dyson, and Edward Foster to 1.75. So once Foster gets into that draft, it's going to close up real quick. So it could be in for a really exciting finish here to the ANZCAR Truck Series on FGM eCast. So we keep getting around here. See how Dyson goes. It's had a really good run here in Kentucky.
That's something we're saying a lot about Andrew Dyson this season, is he's having a really good run. He is a driver that's coming on leaps and bounds, very much not as experienced as short Ruben Phelps there, making contact. Little bit of contact there. That's cost Ruben Phelps a fair bit of speed. He's dropped back behind his teammate there. That was very, very close. So that thing of lap traffic, when you start battling in lap traffic, it's very easy for mistakes to start happening. Don't discount the late caution here, but that's given Scurlock the opportunity to close up right on the back of the 2 Crank Esports cars right now. So Scurlock is looking to get that attack done. Meanwhile, Foster is still trying to close the gap. How much has he saved for this end of this race at the moment? If he's saved enough of those tyres, he could be in with a shout of catching Dyson, but Dyson is no slouch, remember. He had some really good speed towards the end of the stint, so watch out for that one as Michael Scurlock does get past. Ruben Phelps gets underneath him. Ruben Phelps can't do anything to defend right now. He's just going to lose that position, and Scurlock is going to get up there. Will Scurlock be able to make it up towards Aiden Schultz? I'm going to say with current pace, it looks like Scurlock might have the opportunity to get inside the top 3.
Yeah, interesting too, because they both pitted on exactly the same lap 52, so maybe just a little bit more spending done than savings for the Crank Esports boys. So, but Aiden won't let him just wander on by. So it's going to be on here between Schultz and Scurlock. So in fact, Scurlock there just tries the higher line, not just yet able to get his way past. Jumps back down underneath here as they head down the straight. And I think a 350's got it done here. He does indeed. So Scurley moves into the top 3 in the 350 Castrol liveried entry. He just closed the door a bit there on Schultz to make sure he doesn't go back for the pass. Stable still at the front of this race. Gap between our race leader Andrew Dyson and Edward Foster now at 2 seconds. So in fact that one's blown out a little bit, ever so slightly. There's a 100th between them in terms of lap time. So not able to close it up obviously with that. 6 to go. Could be that it's Dyson's to lose.
Meanwhile, just dropping back a little bit towards P12 at the moment. James Robbie has worked his way up into P12. He's trying to catch up to Danny G at the moment. He's quickly running out of laps though, so he's not quite got the pace that he would want. He's obviously used up a bit more of those tyres than he will have wanted to. He's getting some good pace, but he is starting to drop off a little bit now as those tyres are starting to get a little bit worn. I think he's pushing him a little bit harder than he would want to, but he's trying his best. We've got a good battle up with Dwayne Priest and Mazoma at the moment. Mazoma gets down underneath Priest. You can see there Jaden Russell as well in this battle. Lachlan Urquio not quite in the battle. He is down a lap at the moment, but on some slightly fresher tyres. But this battle between Russell is going to get 3 wide here. The 2 trucks of Priest and Mazoma going side by side. They're going 3 wide. Priest gets up high, has to lift off the tiny bit there. Can't quite make it. Russell holds on perfectly, keeps that car in the right spot at the right time to hold that position. Can he do that again? That's going to be the big question. We've still got 4 laps remaining. Well, sorry, three and a half laps remaining here. It's got a lot to do to hold off this battle pack. Meanwhile, James Robbie is catching up very quickly now. This battle is starting to happen. Same with Danny G. So this battle is going to get very juicy very quickly, I'd say.
Absolutely. Just having a look up at the front here, the gap was closing very rapidly. I don't know if Dyson maybe got in and touched the wall, but it's now down to a second between him and Foster. That has dropped a second in a lap. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. Dyson can't be worrying about fuel. He only stopped 1 lap shy. Foster, in fact, you can see there's damage on that right-hand rear corner of the 041 entry. So that's allowed Foster to get down to 1.2 seconds. He may well run out of time here with 2 laps to go, or 1.5 laps to go now.
Just dropping back a little bit. Jade Russell's lost 2 positions. Mazomo's got past as well as Priest. Russell is going to try and get back there. You can see a little bit further back as well. Danny G is getting in on the fight as well as James Robbie. James Robbie could well get inside the top 10 here. We've got a lap and a half to go. Foster can't quite make it up. He's just not got quite enough time. But this battle behind Mazomo with Priest, Russell, Danny G and James Robbie is really heating up. You can see James Robbie getting down underneath Danny G right here. James Robbie's going to get that position. He's going to work his way up into the top 10. Gets past Jaden Russell as well. We're going to see James Robbie trying to hunt down Dwayne Priest as Andrew Dyson is going to come across the line very, very shortly to take the win here at Kentucky Speedway. A great drive from Andrew Dyson. Another fantastic performance. Edward Foster is going to finish in second with Michael Skurlock in third. Aidan Schultz comes home in 4th place. Ruben Phelps just holds off Jason Martin for 5th and 6th. Nickelmore there in 7th. Meanwhile, the battle is still going on. James Robbie's just managed to get up past Dwayne Priest. So it looks like James Robbie's going to make it up into P9 for this race. What did I predict? P9 for James Robbie.
Yeah, absolutely. Got that spot on. I was just having a look there. The 350 Skirley entry missing a fair few panels there on that last lap. So I'm not sure if he got into the wall or got caught up in some traffic, but he just lost a few of the passenger side panels, driver side panels on that one. So anyway, take nothing away. Andrew Dyson, great drive from him, up 2 positions and takes out his second oval win. So obviously a dominating figure in the circuit stuff, but when it comes to oval, he says he's still learning. My God, imagine if he learns too much more, how much trouble the rest of the drivers will be in. But a really great drive here from Dyso in the 41 or 041 entry to take out the win as he heads backwards down pit lane here. Doing a bit of his best circle work.
Doing some good drifting at the moment. Dyson just showing off a little bit, but what a great drive again. As I said, Andrew Dyson, an absolute rising star in the ANZCAR paddock. We know he's got speed on the road tracks, but he is certainly turning up the wick here on the ovals. Michael Skurlock getting 17 positions. Biggest gainer of the race up there in P3.
Absolutely, as we run back through the field here, so it was Dyson, Foster and Skurlock as your top 3. We had Aidan Schultz and Ruben Phelps 4th and 5th for Crank Esports, with Jason Martin, Josh Mickelmore, Simon Mazzomo and James Robbie Rounding out the top 10 is Dwayne Priest with Danny G in 11th. We've got Jaden Russell in 12th, Matty Ray in 13th, with Brent Hobbs in 14th, Ben Vickers in 15th, Steve Williams 16th, followed by Gary Wellman and Nathan Clark. And then as we flip over the page, when it decides that it wants to do it, there we go. Thank you for coming on board. Lachlan Urquio and Christopher Finlay, Mick Taylor, and then rounding out our participants is Donnelly Johansson, Shaw, Douglas Dortnack, and we had Wooden, Rawlock, Dylan, Hoppett and Trahair with, I think we only ended up with 6 drivers out at the end of the race, starting with Dortnack through to Trahair. So that is the lot for this evening.
Yeah, really good race there from all the drivers, keeping that one green. A fantastic result from everyone there tonight. Really, really good driving and what we love to see.
So we have dragged the podium into the booth here, and we'll start out with Michael Skurlock. Great drive tonight, Skurley. Up 17 places, biggest move of the night, and ended up coming home third.
Yeah, mate. I wasn't planning on being that far back, to be honest. I didn't know what happened. I was super slow in qualifying. Don't know why. I thought I was doing everything right. But no, I'm happy to sort of get up there. It was a good practice to do the old tyre saving, figure that out again. It's been a while since I've sort of had to really focus on doing that because this car was really tight. And, you just sit back there sort of in everyone's draft, so you're saving fuel and just wait till everyone slows down and you just sort of stay the same pace and pass everyone.
You certainly did that. We noticed how quickly you were closing in, particularly on Jason Martin, who was struggling for tyres tonight, and then with Ruben getting into the wall there. What happened at the end, mate? The car was mint condition, and then you ended up driving into pit lane half naked.
Yeah, well, I wish I was half naked, mate, because I was having a little scratcheroo down there and lost focus.
Right. Well, that answers the question there. I guess if you don't want to know the answer, don't ask the question, Stu, next time. That's what we've learnt from that one. But no, cracking drive up into 17th, and you'd be happy with the outcome for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like to come first or anything. First or second's better than third. Actually, no, third's the one with the hairy chest. First is the worst. Oh, Edward's the best then. Second's the best. Remember that?
Yes. Yes, I do. I think we're real scratching there. You must be fucking itchy, that's for sure. So just as usual, mate, a quick shout out and some love.
Yeah, mate, just BMX Banditos. I'd better do this stream. What do you call it? Twitch. My Twitch thing. Skurlurkin at Twitch. I don't even know if I can spell it, mate. It's my own name. I don't even know if I can spell it. SCURLURKIN, I think, at Twitch TV. People have been going, where's your camera? Where's your camera and all that? If all your perverts, just hang on. All right, I'm just waiting until my hair gets past the George Costanza look. Get a bit of fluff up the top there, mate, and then I'll be back on, all right?
Bit of OnlyFans, Skilly.
Oh, yeah, they're begging for it, mate, but I don't do that.
Oh, very good. Great drive tonight. As set up, 17 spots. Michael Skurlock, a third place for Skurlurkin Racing, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and thank you to put it on, and thanks to everyone, ANZCAR and everyone like that. Thank you very much.
No dramas at all. Michael Skurlock here in third place. Gets us into second place. Edward Foster, Atari Autosports. Pretty clean run for you tonight, Ed. You be happy with that?
Yeah, it definitely was. Practice was looking a bit dicey. Couldn't really keep the right front tyre on it, and couldn't put a hot lap together either. So when you see stuff like that, you start to think to yourself that you're probably in for a rough night. But it was just, a bit of a patient run, just trying to let it come to me a little bit. I had a little bit of contact with Jaden. I've gone back, had a look at the replay, and that was actually on me. I was sure it was him, but it was actually on me looking at that. So I've quickly typed out an apology to him because I don't like getting into people that way. So, but either way, apart from that little touch, everything else was really quite serene for a race. I came out from the pit stops, managed to get an extra lap out of the tank than some of the other guys did. Kind of wanted to get as much life out of that tyre as I possibly could and that tank as I could, just in case we had a green-white checker at the end. It might put me in a bit of a better position than some of the guys who pitted a bit earlier. But in the end, we didn't get anything like that, and it was just a bit of a stalemate between me and Daiso there. So, good finish in the end.
Yeah, we thought you were going to close up on him at the end there. We'll ask Andrew in a second about that. The last couple of laps there, it dropped down to about a second gap between the two of you. But I don't think anyone from watching the practice would have predicted that we would have gone the whole 100 without a caution at all.
Yeah, it was a surprise because the track was really quite tricky. I mean, 1 and 2, the truck really rotated quite nicely, and then 3 and 4, it was just a dog. And I spent most of practice trying to figure out how to get through there, and still hadn't really figured out a satisfactory solution by the time even the race rolled around. So, yeah, I am surprised that nobody hit that outside wall. I nearly hit it a couple of times, and nobody brought a caution out. But, we got green flag to flag. So, yeah, all good, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a little while. So, as always, just a quick shout-out and some love to your sponsors and the like.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, there's FGM cast all over the truck, which everyone can see. And, of course, thanks to you guys for putting the broadcast on. But I'll give the Cup sponsors a bit of a shout-out as well. We've got, obviously, Race Magazine as well. 2 Fat Blokes, Bridgestone Select, and we've got AJ Insurance Services on the side of the Thundercar as well. So, yeah, all cool to have those guys aboard. And a shout-out to Daiso as well. We've it's been a bit of an old order between us. I guess you'd call us the good old boys of ANZCAR, running at the front and having it all our own way for quite a while. And it's been really cool to see a new group come in. They've obviously put in a huge amount of work, himself and Pearson and Worley and the cart. They're all doing so well. And to come in and, start winning races and everything, it's just that. I think it's a shot in the arm that the league really needed to see a few new names up there. So it's excellent. So congratulations to him too.
Yeah, good call. Absolutely. So Edward Foster there finishing in second place for Natari Autosports. And we do move on to our winner, Andrew Dyson. Daiso, a big congratulations, mate. Another win on the oval stuff. We'll sing your praises about your work on the circuit, mate, but it'll be no doubt a big relief for you to get another one away here on the oval stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Stewie. It's good to get another one on the ovals for sure. Like I've said once before, I enjoy these trucks, so that helps out a little bit. But it was good fun tonight. Interesting track, that's for sure. But it was still a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, we saw. I meant to ask you there. We saw just the end there. The truck get a little bit of damage on it. Just got a little bit loose on you at the back end of the race.
Not really loose. Probably got tighter. So I lost a bit of focus. Maybe around 8 laps to go or so, and the back end just touched the wall going into one, and so the front hit the fence, and I was pretty lucky to get away with it, but it probably damaged the truck a little more than what I already had, because I did scrape the fence a little earlier, but I don't think that really hurt me. But lucky to get away with that. Slowed me down a bit.
I was going to say, it certainly didn't look like it's damaged the truck too much. That earlier incident, you were nice and consistent the whole way through there, and one of the fastest laps of the race as well. So another fantastic drive from you. We've got Road America double header coming up Wednesday and Thursday night. Are we going to see the DPR boys represent at both of those races?
I think there'll be at least 3 of us. One of us was a naughty boy last week, so he's kicked out. He's been thrown into the dungeon for the week, so unlucky for that bloke. But we'll be there again. I'm trying to do our best for sure.
Yeah, I heard he's cleaning the pots and pans down in the infield care centre there for the week, so yep. He'll do that and get on with it. But looking forward to seeing what you guys bring to the table there. And as Ed said, it's a new challenge for a lot of the old boys. Saw there Martin struggling a little bit for tyres and stuff like that, so good to see a mix up at the front here. So a really, really strong performance from you again tonight, and congratulations as usual. Just to call out to your sponsors.
Yeah, I've got the regulars on there. Of course, Simrigs.com and Simrigs.com's new venture or side venture down at the headquarters there. They've got this Phoenix Smokers thing going on, so check that out. Big Kamado smoker things. They're pretty sick. It's actually a bit of cooking stuff on the Simrigs.com Discord too if you want to check that out. But congratulations to all the drivers tonight. Awesome job to go green flag the whole way again. Good racing up front. Sounded like pretty good racing everywhere else. Might have been a few close calls, but sounds like it was a pretty good job by most guys out there tonight. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a last minute call out as well for the boys at simrigs.com. Their end of financial year sales only got 2 days to run, so you can jump online and buy some stuff there at some good discounts and support the people that support the guys running in our I say ours in the ANZCAR series and right across the sim world. So congratulations again, Andrew, for another win here in ANZCAR.
Yeah, thanks, man. And I've got to say before I go, because I'll disappoint everybody, full credit to the boys. Got to drop a full credit to the boys. And yeah, congrats, Ed and Mick, and thanks for the kind words.
No dramas at all, mate. Easy to say. Carl, another race run here for us on FGM Ecast, and ANZCAR truck once again not disappointing. 100 laps green in difficult conditions. Trucks sounded like they were difficult to drive as well.
Yeah, absolutely. A brilliant job from all the drivers tonight. Everyone should really pat themselves on the back for keeping that race green. But just as Ed was saying, it's nice to see some fresh blood coming in and really giving everybody a little bit of making them stand to attention. It's sort of having to get your game up sort of thing, because there is these fresh faces coming in and these guys are quick and you need to raise your game effectively, and it's made a lot of people have to rethink things and start putting things into perspective and start working out a few different strategies as well, and that's what we love to see. So that is really exciting to have happen. As you said, Road America coming up next for us in ANZCAR, with Xfinity on Wednesday and of course the Cup on Thursday night. That is going to be one heck of a show. Really looking forward to Road America in the NASCARs. They are something else to drive on that track.
Yeah, me too. Certainly looking forward to that. My favourite track, or one of my favourite tracks in the world. So I'm very keen to see how the trucks go, particularly through the sweeper, before we head down the back straight. I think it's going to be a great race across the two series. But of course, before we get there, more excitement to come. Tuesday night, tomorrow night, been hanging out for this one. We are back with the Oz Pro Am Sim Series on FGM Ecast. It is the wildcard round. We're starting out with the wildcards. It is at Daytona, and we are running the C7 prototype there, and of course the my mind has gone completely blank. The other car that we're running there tomorrow night. Apologies for that, boys. There's been a lot going on today, so mine's running a little thin. I think it's the CV.
The Cadillac.
The Cadillac, thank you very much. Yeah. The Cadillac, I keep always thinking of that as a Corvette. So we've got the C7 prototype and the Cadillac there, and I took the C7 for a squirt out at Daytona. I've never driven it before. Took it out for a run the other night, and that's a fun thing to drive around there. So looking forward to the wildcard round tomorrow night. Believe it or not, the series is oversubscribed, so they capped the series at 70 entries. The iRacing limit for a track is 63 entries, so it's almost the first in best dress there to get on the track. 63 of those cars at that track is going to be absolutely mental. So let's see how that fares up tomorrow night. But a series known, like ANZCAR, for good, clean racing. And I know Sam, the administrator, has been doing a whole heap of work in the off-season to get that up and running as well. So looking forward to bringing you that one tomorrow night. We may even be on a little early tomorrow to make sure that we can cover everything that's happened in the off-season before we get into it, including a new intro and a whole heap of other bits and pieces. So don't miss that one. It'll be probably about 7:30 tomorrow night. We'll jump on live. So make sure you're following us so you get the notifications, or turn notifications on if you do follow us, so that you can see when we get on the air tomorrow night. And really, really keen to bring you that one before we get into round one proper the following week.
Yeah, very exciting stuff, and a few familiar faces might be showing up in the series as well. So very much looking forward to that. It's going to be a great year as it comes. As we're we're halfway through the year, but it's got more and more motorsport coming up, more and more sim racing coming up, and some really good stuff to look forward to.
Absolutely. So that's it from us for another night on FGM Ecast. A clean race, 0 to 100 laps with no caution periods whatsoever. Andrew Dyson, Edward Foster, Michael Skurlock, your podium on the night. If you haven't watched it all, then jump back through, and we'll see you tomorrow night on FGM Ecast from around 7:30. And from Carl Withy and myself, Stuart Brown, it is a very good night indeed from FGM Ecast, your E-Place for Pace.